Howdy everyone, my name is Kate Lester, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the thermodynamics of baking cookies. So thermodynamics is basically just the study of the relationship between a chemical reaction and the heat and energy changes associated with that. So today we're going to calculate the heat capacity of a cookie. Heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. And so the units of heat capacity are joule per degree Celsius. So the equation we're going to be looking at today in relation to our cookie baking is this one. It's Q equals SM delta T. And so I'm going to break that down a little bit because that can be a little confusing. So Q is the amount of heat that is absorbed or released by the chemical reaction. And then S is the specific heat. Specific heat is the amount of heat energy required to raise 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. And M is another part of the equation, which is just the grams. So we will weigh a cookie dough ball. And then delta T is the temperature change of the reaction. And so that part of the equation that we're actually going to be looking at today is C, which is heat capacity. And C is equal to S times N, which is the specific heat times the mass. And so you do a little rearranging of the equation and you get that the heat capacity is equal to Q divided by delta T. Okay, here are our known values. We just measured the mass to be 57 grams, and we already calculated the Q from the calories of the cookie, and now we need to figure out the change in temperature. So we know that the final temperature is going to be 350 degrees because that's what we're going to bake the cookies at. And we think that the initial temperature should be room temperature, but I'm going to go ahead and measure that right now so that we have an exact experimental value. And so when we divided our calculated Q value divided by our calculated delta T value, we get that C is equal to 3007 joules per degree Celsius. One other major component of thermodynamics is figuring out whether a reaction is endothermic or exothermic. So in an endothermic reaction, your Q value is positive because the system is taking in heat. And then exothermic is when your Q value would be negative and the system is giving off heat. This cookie takes in heat. The final temperature is a lot bigger than the initial temperature, which makes the Q value positive. So the baking of cookies is an endothermic reaction. Thank you so much for watching along the journey of cookies and thermodynamics. I hope you learned something.